Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price says declaring a public health emergency has helped save lives in southeast Texas. And as we've been talking about, as our last guest talked about, there are serious health concerns not only right now, but for all of Texas and Louisiana, as so much of it remains underwater.
Yeah, potential problems. Floodwater injuries, unwelcome wildlife like alligators, for instance, infectious disease from sewage, and a shortage of medicine as well. Dr. Ernest Patti is a senior attending physician of emergency medicine at St. Barnabas Hospital, and he joins us now to talk about this, what could happen in the aftermath.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Patti. You know, we are just essentially we're still in the thick of it. There's still people being rescued, but in a sense, the aftermath is beginning for some parts of Texas. The cleanup is underway. People will be out there mucking their homes and trying to clean up, and they'll be exposed to floodwaters and mud and everything left behind. How dangerous is it?
Oh, it's very dangerous. I mean, when you think of the word disaster itself, it's actually a mnemonic for what we have to worry about, the consequences that people can face. I think of the D standing for the danger. You mentioned dangers in the hidden floodwaters, what the floodwaters contain in them as well. Infectious disease is the I in disaster. That stands for all of the infections that are prone from sewage backup and lack of fresh water. S can be for shortages in medicine, proper food, fresh drinking water. A stands for access or lack of it, and that's because the roads and the bridges and most of the transportation systems have been bumped out. The other S in disaster stands for shelter, lack of proper shelter that you can actually live in, that's dry and stable and hasn't been damaged from the floodwaters. T stands for the trauma. And by trauma, I don't mean just the physical trauma that people have endured. We have to think of the mental health issues that are going to be short-term as well as long-term. E is for electricity, lack of it, and the importance to have it so that we can recover. And R stands for our rescue, recovery, and our restoration to normalcy at some point.
You know, I have covered a great many floods, and generally in the days after something, I always see children running around in the floodwaters, or people that are just trying to get access to their homes and recover some of their belongings also being exposed to the floodwaters. I mean, what do you do if you've been exposed to floodwaters? And we've been watching for days now these pictures of people that have little choice but to wade through it and climbing into boats.
Yeah, you have to be very careful because your skin, while it's very resilient to water, the long-term effects of submersion can cause changes in your skin where it breaks down, and actually makes you very prone to skin infections. Plus, the water you're in is not fresh and clean. It's probably contaminated with both chemicals as well as sewage and other debris. That can also lead to infectious disease and cause rashes and allergic reactions in folks. So people have to try to get themselves out of the water, dry themselves as best as possible, and in spite of all the difficulties they face, to try to stay as clean as possible during a disaster like this.
All right, Dr. Patti, thank you for joining us to talk about all of this, including folks that are looking for shelter and will need some medicine in the days to come. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.